The seeds of the coalition actually are in Asia, because it was established in Bali 2018, or the decision to establish it was taken there. And we also have, by the way, now China, Thailand, and few other countries also observing the work. So they are in the loop, considering the further partnership. Really, the seeds of the coalition, the why it was established, lies with the fundamental reason why the guide has been established. So to understand what should be done in the finance ministries, how to implement the high-level goals, and how to integrate finance ministries. So this really comes from demand stemming from the finance ministries to better understand what should be done and how finance ministries should be more integrated in the work. And also, congratulations to PEMNA. I think the work that you have done the past 10 years or so is really similar to what we have done, and we really welcome the opportunity to cooperate with you, maybe even more so in the future. The next, please. And the next, these pictures from the establishment meeting of the coalition in Washington, D.C., but I would like to go to the next one. So this is what we do. We are cooperating closely with institutional partners. We are now 83 countries. The objective is to support countries to mainstream climate into economic, fiscal, and financial policies. Of course, we are partnering the coalition now, the co-chairmanship with Indonesia, in close partnership, and Finland will be replaced by Netherlands later this spring, after four years of our co-chairmanship period will end. The difference with what the PEMNA is doing lies with the Helsinki principles. I will just briefly explain what we do. The principles 1 and 6 are really the broad strategic kind of a context of what we do. And normally the principle 1 and 2, they are driven by other than finance ministries. So environment ministries, normally there is an important interlinkage to the international climate negotiations and commitments. And then also principle 2 is very sort of a horizontal, covering different areas. But this is basically, Finland has been leading this work with Rwanda, and it's been supported by Grant and Research Institute and the World Bank and a few other institutional partners. And the idea there is really to develop understanding, share experiences, and think about the governance issues. Technical assistance, training is also part of the planning in that work stream. But then we have 3 really broad economic policy related areas where the PEMNA framework, PEMNA network is working on principle 4. And even there we have also very broad approach to public financial management, but that's where our agendas are in parallel. And then we have principle 3, which is the carbon pricing as a key instrument, and there are many approaches, regional and national approaches that are really much interlinked. So very, very important to understand those linkages. Many countries are currently designing carbon pricing reforms, and then mobilizing climate finance. Obviously, we are looking at this from a very systemic perspective, how to design and develop the financial markets and whatever the ecosystem of that includes, from the public side, MDBs, national agencies, and special purpose institutions for that purpose. So it's also very broad issue. But then on the membership, right now we are really, the coalition is growing quickly. I think we are now 83, and we are growing basically as we speak. We are growing particularly now in in Africa and Asia. There's a lot of interest to join our efforts. I'm going to just end my presentation with just giving a couple of hints on if you're interested how to get involved. It's very easy, but I would like to say a few words about the broader kind of opportunities and challenges. So next, please. In order to make things happen, the change happen in our economies, in our political systems, well, I've learned already from many Asian countries that I had the opportunity to visit last year in many of your countries, including Malaysia, and there seems to be a good sort of a momentum to build sort of a horizontal approaches to address the climate change. So put the climate governance right, and that's really important first step. But of course, political commitment goes first. Without political commitment, there will be no governance, there will be no sufficient organization. But one important topic is the third point, that in principle, the mandates of finance ministers are there because, I'll give an example from Finland. By law, the Finnish finance ministry is in charge of 14 different areas which are extremely relevant for climate change and nature-related policies. For example, development of tax system, procurements, giving guidance on entities, agencies that are under the guidance and ownership of the government. So with that, it goes without saying that in order to actually manage that all that and to avoid that the finance ministries will not actually become a bottleneck in all that, they need a lot of expertise and understanding on how to actually guide the system, how to develop the system. And when we're talking about whole government approach, this is a big task, and I can say that there is no country who is fully ready to this. There is a lot of learning undergoing, and many countries are proceeding now quickly, and that's what we are supporting in the coalition. But of course, when it comes to the finance ministries in-house, we need of course develop understanding on how the risks are evolving, what is the impact right now, how do we assess the trade-offs of different policies, and what is the really implications of that on what we do, how we operationalize that, and that's why the number 5, the 5th point, is about really strategy. Yeah, I can tell that there are not many countries that have actually put together a comprehensive climate and nature strategies. And within Finland, this is something that we did released in December, so it's on the website in English if you want to have a look by googling finance ministry climate and nature strategy. There is a slide deck on it, but it's in a way a starting point. So there is a lot to do. We need to develop in-house leadership. Of course, critical expertise is needed, operational capacity. This is where the tough work is, and of course, the 7th point, peer learning. This is actually why the coalition of finance ministers was established, because we thought and figured out that this is such a high mountain to climb that it's not possible to do it, especially in a small country with limited resources, and there is a lot to learn, and that's why we feel that we can scale up activities together without getting into any political debates that are unnecessary on other issues, geopolitics and others, but we are just focusing on climate and helping each other. So next I'm going to tell you a bit about how we work, and that's why I want to bring in the next slide really the point about how the ecosystem of different actors work. We have now 26 institutional partners. The World Bank and the IMF are acting as the secretariat and also important institutional partners. These institutions involve, I would say, thousands of people, hundreds of climate experts. They are supporting on the ground in our countries, financing, providing advice. There are also kind of national level actors, think tanks. There are other networks that are really critical, like the MGFS, and we also cooperate with the global G different formations. So it's also about being efficient about who does what and understanding how the ecosystem of different actors can work. Of course, the academia is important. Good example is the Grantham Research Institute that is really supporting this work stream. There are other work streams supported by other institutional partners, and that's the way we function. The next slide, please. And then, I mean, very similar to what you are doing, I mean, the way we act, and I want to say that the coalition is of course political because it involves politicians, finance ministers, but it's not political in the sense that we don't drive any policy. So when ministers comes to these meetings, they don't have to have mandates to agree on anything. They just basically learn and exchange views and give considerations of how the coalition could help their country, the minister and their organization, and that's the idea of the guide, that ministers actually endorse it in April, and then they take it home, and then we will continue working on how to support the implementation of it. In that context, we hope that there will be many opportunities also to travel to different continents and have that discussions, more deep diving discussions on the guide later on in the year. So hope that we can continue cooperation there. We have Sherpa meetings. That's what I'm chairing, and they are quite intense. But we work mainly virtually. In 3 weeks' time, we will have a meeting in Helsinki, first time in 3 years, 2-day meeting with the seminar that actually will be streamed publicly. So it's important. There's a possibility for you also to see where we are actually talking about the guide, the green transformation challenges, nature and financing related systemic issues, and of course workshops, same things that PEMNA does, and webinars. We have reports on the website. Please do go and have a look at them. They could complement nicely on what you're doing. We are producing them really for finance ministries to support their activities, to enhance understanding about how they could get more into the discussions. And of course, we have a lot of information that we manage on the website. So please do go and have a look at it. The work program of the coalition was just released there recently. And the next one, I think I will then come to close of my presentation, and here are some just flagship reports, just examples on what we're doing. So really the impacts of really providing the basic information about how climate and nature are affecting the activities. That's really kind of fundamental document that we've done, and then many sort of a transition related topics, financial different Helsinki principle areas. But then just maybe to finish with the welcoming new members, and if you're interested, we are really happy, the co-chairs and the secretariat, to engage with you. Do stay in contact if you're interested, and it's really easy to join the coalition. I think I stop my presentation there, and if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. And really hope you an interesting seminar. I think the presentation of the guide following some of this will be interesting. And thank you to Grantham and Nico for presenting that for the coalition. So thank you very much.